Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain AccuWeather, coming to you by way of the Captain AccuWeather Command Center on behalf of Weigel's Fuel and Food that's fast, fresh, and friendly. Here's your East Tennessee weather update. Let's start off with a Weigel's update because they have a delicious moon pie milk that's available for a limited time. Some of you say, I have never heard of such a thing. That's because it's unique. It's unique. In fact, you've got to question yourself. Do I take a sip of the moon pie milk first and then take a bite of the chocolate moon pie, or reverse, do I take the bite? Anyway, you have a lot of choices when you go to Weigel's, but the moon pie milk is definitely one that you want to pick up a bottle because it's only around for a limited time. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows, no question about that. Very happy to have Weigel's as a sponsor. By the way, the moon pie milk is available now. Pick up a bottle as you pick up some other supplies like some hot coffee. Maybe you fill up your tank before you head off to work. It is out of this world. The Eagle may have landed, but so has the moon pie milk. By the way, I want to talk about the weather because visibility has dropped quite a bit in some spots. Let's talk about where that is. Hello over here. Let's come back over to this camera because, yeah, we've down to 0 in Middlesboro, Bell County, and Jonesville. So these areas might have some very dense fog this morning that if you happen to be traveling in this area, be mindful that it might not necessarily be picture perfect. There could be some patches of fog there in the Smokies. We've got Mount LeConte suggested around 1 mile, but that's again approximate. And you can see some gray areas even in Morgan and parts of southern Scott County. So be prepared for potentially some slowdowns in terms of the visibility. That's the visibility. Right now we've got temperatures that are all over the map. We've got 78 Oak Ridge, but it's 7 degrees cooler in Crossville. Crossville's coming in at 71, 75 in Sevierville, 75 in Knoxville. So let's look at the map, right? 70 in Rockwood, big difference from Newport, that's 78. Pick a number. Oh, can't you just pick a number? Everybody's different. Isn't that unique? Isn't that nice? Everybody has a different temperature, but it is sticky across the board, and I do anticipate we're going to continue on that path, the path that is, to say that we're going to find more in the way of sticky weather. Another hot day. Yesterday we're in the mid-90s. We're headed back to the mid-90s, so we've got another 20 degrees potentially to climb during the course of your Tuesday. By the way, with a dew point of 70, it feels swampy. But I would say it's even more humid where you see a 77 in Morristown. If that's to be believed, they're in the mid-70s. That is awfully stuffy. No question about that. Compare and contrast that to Crossville. They're at 68. So dew point temperature, the gold standard when you talk about humidity. But the feels like temperature is a function of that dew point. Many cases, and in this case, it feels like it's 81. In Oak Ridge, feels like 75 in Knoxville. Doesn't feel much different at this hour. Feels like temperature has more utility as the morning wears on. Tracking the clouds, you'll notice there was a little bit of green in the Southern Valley last night. We'll take a closer look at that here in just a second. But most of the rain you see back toward Paducah and west of Bowling Green, that's all associated with Burl. Bye-bye, Burl. You mean it's not coming here? No, it's not coming here. But we could get some showers today. You could say loosely it's directed, but the center of that circulation is not going to be passing by here. Here's a look over the last 12 hours or so. You can see most of the showers and storms that were across maybe Etowah, maybe back toward Cleveland. There were some thunderstorms last night in the wee hours of 1 or 2 in the morning. And some of that developed into a few light rain showers, maybe around Athens and maybe just south of Kingston. So this shows you a review over time of where things have been, but there's not a whole lot here this afternoon. We'll see about a 40% chance of that coming back into play. Still some flooding concerns around Little Rock, and I got some other notes here as I want to pass along to you and check in with you. Notice the record high today, 102. 102, 1988. Do you remember in 1988? Some of you go, yeah, I graduated high school then. If that's true, then you remember that 1988 was a very hot summer. No question about that. That's still 102, record high today. That's not even going to be approached. I have us at 96. While most everybody else is either 93, 94, all the way. Oh, 96. We hit 96 yesterday. We have a great chance of going back there today. And only the rain will probably stop us. 54 is the record low for this state going back to 1984. We also did it according to records in 1896. There was one tornado yesterday in Colorado, and the last, he says, the last advisory on Burl was at 10 o'clock Central last night. That was 11 o'clock. So there have been no more, will be no more, because the winds were at 35. miles per hour from the center of this circulation. So there's not much more to talk about Burl, but I can talk about what you might be seeing. If you got a comment, let me know. I see Steven Snyder's on here. Let's put him on the screen. He is saying hello. He's got something. Good morning. Everyone has a great day. Now, he's down in the Houston area. He's had to endure the loss of power. I hope it's been restored, my friend. But he's been dealing with that. Wanda Poe's on YouTube. Oh, I love it. In fact, we've got both YouTube and Facebook. Wanda says, good morning, David. Moon pie milk is very good. I'm going to be glad when fall comes. She's ready for football time in Tennessee. That means August 31st will not come here soon enough for our friend Wanda Poe. Thank you, Wanda, for that note. And another note here from Fred. Fred Winchbach says, good morning, David. It's 77 in Maryville. It's coffee time at Weigel's. I couldn't agree more. Awesome. Great update. Thank you for all sharing that with me here at 6:47 in the morning. Big picture shows there's more showers headed up toward. Notice, is that green? That is green. Do you see what I'm seeing? Look at Michigan. They've got flood watches for the remnants of Burl all the way to 8 o'clock on the 10th. Oh, that's like tomorrow. That's tomorrow evening. So they're already anticipating the rains to be heavy in parts of Michigan, despite the fact it's not even there yet. Ooh, that's good thinking. And they got heat advisories in Houston after they've got hammered, this time yesterday morning, from Hurricane Burl. But no longer a hurricane, just rather a tropical depression. But this is the big picture. Look at the heat. I mean, it's not even orange. It's more fuchsia purple. Purple or fuchsia across California, Nevada, up toward the Pacific Northwest. They're going to be baking too. So we've got hot weather out west. We've got a storm in the middle of the country. And we've got more heat advisories in orange on the east side, especially east of I-95 corridor. Now, when we talk about rain today, let's keep our expectations where they should be, which is low, which means we're not going to get a whole lot. I still say when it's this humid, it can pour. When it rains, it pours, but that doesn't mean it's going to rain when it's only a 40% chance. But this projects through 5 o'clock today. For what it's worth, it shows 0.03. Now, last I checked, the most rain we've had all month is 0.05. So if we got 0.03, that's not a very high expectation for Knoxville, which is why I think we have reasons to be concerned about an extended dry period, much like we experienced sadly last fall. We had some very dry air in September, October, but it got pretty bad during that time frame. But notice there could be a 1/4 inch in Jamestown. There could be a 1/3 of an inch in Crossville through 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But even tomorrow, I think it's spotty. Notice the clock has moved and the numbers really are unchanged. So when you look at the drought monitor, by the way, this normally comes out every Thursday. There are exceptions. When Independence Day happens to land on a Thursday, they put this out, NOAA did, out on the 3rd, July 3rd, which is Wednesday. So if you pick out your favorite town, you might already be under a level 1, abnormally dry, abnormally dry, which would be a level 1 drought. So we already have drought-like conditions in parts of Knox County. Some areas are yellow, some are not. But this was as of last week. But we're already at a moderate drought if you're in Crossville, Wartburg. So if you take La Follette, for example, Sharps Chapel, abnormally dry. Take a look at Harriman, Kingston, Fairfield Glade. It's a light brown. Wartburg, also under a moderate drought that's level 2. And things are only going to get worse. They're not going to get better. Sure, we had a few showers in Athens last night, but that's not going to be the cure-all. That's not the panacea to cure all our ailments, what ails us in terms of dryness. That's only going to get worse as we'll continue to monitor this with our friends from NOAA. Things are much, much worse in red. That includes parts of West Texas and southern parts of New Mexico. By the way, it is 6:50. My goal is to be done here in 10 minutes, although I got a late start. Well, I got a 60-second late start. But either way, if you were curious, we did tie a record high on the 4th of July. And that occurred, in the afternoon, of course, but 97 tied the 1993 record, which is still on the books. So it's a twofer. We could put 2024 and we could put 1993, both 97 on the 4th of July. And yesterday we hit 96. I think today will match the 96. So we're still in hot territory. No doubt about that. Mary Morgan says, good morning, David and family. Have a nice day. Thank you. Stephen Snyder saying his power is still out. That's not good news. Sorry, Stephen. And again, prayers to you and to everybody in South Texas that's having to recover from this storm. By the way, we've now had not 2 weeks. We've had 3 weeks of 90-degree weather, 2 weeks in June, 1 week so far in July, and that's only going to continue on today. I don't expect much change, but there will be a pullback tomorrow. As you can see, we get pullbacks in the 90-degree days. I show this because this could give you context. If you think every day is going to be like one's going to get hotter than the next, it goes down. We had 77 90-degree days in 2010, followed by a very rainy summer. In 2013, we only had 11. And we've had as few as 5, I believe. Back in the early 1900s, we had not, it was 1960 something, we had 5, but early 1900s, 4 or 5. Very few 90-degree days have occurred as well, but you can get as many as 78 so far. That was back in 1936. But take a look at the average year. July is the bumper crop month. That's when we get most average, most 90-degree days, which is 12. We've already had 7. Today will be 8. You can anticipate that July is going to be above board, but I do think we get a pullback tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll get 1 day in the upper 80s. That will be, quote-unquote, the coolest. So 21 days is where things stand. By the way, it's 6:52. Very light winds right now, but I suspect they'll pick up 5 to 10 plus later on this afternoon. We have 77 currently in Nashville, 72 in Johnson City. Temperature matches the Knoxville temperature down in Chattanooga, Hamilton County. They're at 75 degrees. Dew points are around 70, also in Nashville, so very sticky. And when you factor in the dew points with the humidity, it may feel like it's 79. In Nashville, feels like 81 in Memphis. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the Moon Pie milk, available for a limited time, check out Weigel's. You'll love it. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. We love Weigel's for so many reasons, but it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. No question about that. But this Moon Pie milk, this is only around for a short period of time. So you might want to pick up not 1, but 2 bottles. I think it's fantastic. I think you'll be impressed as the Moon Pie milk, again, one of the flavored creations that Weigel's has been known to create. From time to time, they come out with some awesome different flavors. By the way, humidity, tracking humidity, it stays pretty dark green here right through the day today. That's 5 o'clock. If you're looking for a change, you might get a little break tomorrow. A little bit of a break. See how it goes from dark green to light green? I know it's relative. That's all I can do. It's all relative. It shows like it's trying to break up a little bit by noontime tomorrow in the mountains of North Carolina, probably like Bryson City. The humidity's dropped there at noontime tomorrow, and the stuffy air may even drop so much to say, hey, it's not that bad tomorrow. Because I have us at 88 degrees, and I have the humidity coming down just a wee bit, but it'll come back. It usually does. It's summertime, so right there by Thursday, it's feeling like it's sticky weather, returning back into the picture during the course of the week. So we've got a lot of hot air, lots of sunshine. We've seen this before. We've seen it play out, but the hazy sun and clouds will continue here on your Tuesday. Sun did come up at 6:28. It goes down now at 8:54. Hazy, hot, and humid with a 40% chance for showers and storms. We can declare it as a hot day. No question about that. And if you're headed out the door here in just mere moments, many of us will find temperatures by 10 o'clock around 85. That's fast. That's a 10-degree jump in just a few short hours. We'll finish the day around 96, but I've got 2 p.m., some afternoon thunder boomers, and 95. Oak Ridge is what I expect, 96 in Newport. So if you're on the call, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you as I'm looking at some other notes. I got another here from Wanda. She's saying, how are the tropics? I believe we got that next. That's on deck circle here. Wanda, thank you for bearing with me as we'll look at that here in just moments. Let's go ahead and take a look at that, because here is the latest update, the last advisory from Tropical Depression Burl. Why is he a depression? Well, now he's got winds of 30. So this storm has really weakened quite a bit, right? Heads up here. The National Hurricane Center kind of passed the torch. So now the Hurricane Center is pretty much done with Burl, and so the local offices, the local National Weather Service offices will monitor this, along with the Weather Prediction Center and others. But notice it's a swing and a miss for Knoxville. This goes toward Detroit. No wonder they have flash flood watches, or at least aerial flood watches in effect for southern Michigan. And then it heads up toward Canada. Our Canadian friends get a little taste of Burl and maybe some flooding rains there. But is there any doubt this storm is not headed here? It should probably be well out of your mind that we're just not getting rains associated with Burl. Some would say what we get today loosely related to it, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. We'll just be dealing with some showers and storms. And the Hurricane Center has 0 colors over the next 7 days, which means there are no areas of interest right now on the palette for another hurricane or tropical storm name. So today we're here, but by the time we get into August, September, we see things typically ramping up. No question about that. Let's take a look at the names. We've got Debbie Ernesto and Francine on the on-deck circle. We'll keep an eye on those names. By the way, speaking of names, how about Janet? We got Janet on the screen. She says it's 75 degrees in Talbot this morning. Everyone stay safe. Check on the elderly and pets. Love that idea. Love the update. Thank you so much for that, Janet. We always appreciate the reminder because it is a good reminder. Let's talk about headlines. It's 6:56. Another hot day today. Check. When it rains, and that's a big when and if, it pours. It's so humid. And then Wednesday, as I updated my premium members yesterday afternoon, it looked like Wednesday will now be the coolest, and I put that in quotation marks, the coolest day of the week because we'll be struggling to get out of the upper 80s tomorrow. Right now we have 75 degrees at the moment. We have a dew point of 70, but we have no wind, relative humidity at 84%. Valley Planner, boy, you got to plan accordingly if you are not a fan. If you wither under the heat, you better be where you need to be before 12 noon, because by noon we should be around 92. 92 degrees at noontime? That's crazy. I know. Now the average high just bumped up to 89. It'll be there for weeks on end. But we've got 96 on the board today, and that should be between 5 and 6. 5 and 6 p.m. this evening with a 40% chance for some storms. There's not a lot of rain going down the road, so this may be today our best chance, and we've already expected or shown future rainfall was at 0.03. Doesn't show much, so it's slim pickings. That's why I showed you the drought monitor. It may get much worse before it gets much better. And this is typically the soggiest month of the year, but it oftentimes depends on whether you are in the crosshairs of a tropical feature. We did not get in the crosshairs of Beryl, so we're not going to get the benefits of Beryl. Our friends in Detroit will. Our friends in the Midwest will. But we're not going to feel the effects of Beryl like our friends further north and west. Where we do have severe weather threats today, really across parts of Indiana, parts of southern Illinois, and northern Kentucky, northwestern Kentucky, really, west of Lexington. Although Lexington could have an isolated severe storm, it's Louisville and Evansville, Indiana, that might have scattered severe storms. If you're looking locally, you got to squint to find all the way up, it looks like Wayne County, Monticello might be in that crosshair there for dark green. Monticello, Wayne County, isolated severe storm today, general thunderstorms elsewhere here. And if we look at Wednesday, maybe a patch of dark green between Albuquerque and Lubbock and El Paso. Some scattered severe storms Wednesday around Scranton and upstate New York, but really nothing going on here other than general thunderstorms, especially east of Wartburg, where there might be some thunderstorms tomorrow. I think it's spotty at best on Wednesday. Thursday I have us dry. No real concerns for severe weather anywhere in the state. We're looking pretty good on Thursday with lots of sunshine, but tomorrow, Thursday, we're back in the low 90s. So here's our future cast. You're at 6:59. You can see that warm front's lifting, and it's lifting away, but it's going to bring in more humid air as it slides across the board. But most of the heavier rains will be passing us by. Heading into 11 o'clock tonight, tomorrow morning, maybe another shower or two, maybe a spot of rain on Wednesday, then it's gone, and then we're dry for what seems like day after day. A lot of model noise there. Model noise, I think it's dry going right into the weekend, because the weekend will be another exceedingly hot, humid air mass to work with as the system on the stays well to the east on the I-95 corridor. Another way to look at this is the future cast. Pick out your favorite town. By midday, we could be easily in the low 90s. That's pretty hot stuff. This projects at 2 o'clock a couple of areas of red. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 red areas, which would mean strong thunderstorms, maybe, but certainly downpours. Like I said, when it's this humid, it wouldn't take much to create some gusts of wind and perhaps even some downpours, potentially, because we're headed toward 96. That's the 5 o'clock projection. Heading into tonight, there may still be a few showers, a few rumbles of thunder, but they will fade overnight with some patches of fog, no doubt. And then we head into Wednesday afternoon. Any rain that we get would be limited as the clouds will thin out and will finish generally in the mid to upper 80s. I think we've got a good chance to make it to about 88 on Wednesday afternoon. So be prepared for some changes tomorrow, which will be a nice little break because we've got to gear up for another hot spell this weekend. So for today, it's now 7 o'clock straight up. I've got 96 degrees. 96 degrees, the 3 H's, 40% chance for showers and storms, winds southwest 5 to 10 plus. They will be gusting higher than 10, 15 or 20 by the afternoon. 91 in La Follette, 95 in Oak Ridge and Maryville, Alcoa, 95 for Jefferson City, Dandridge and Morristown, 96 for Newport. A very hot day, much like yesterday. 94 for Chattanooga, Notice it should be around 96 today. In Nashville, 91 for Bowling Green if you're on the road. 74 is stuffy tonight. It's very sticky, partly to mostly cloudy with a few storms in the making as we head down to about 70 tonight in Wartburg, 72 for La Follette, Oneida, as well as about 70 Oneida, 74 for Maryville, and 71 for Pigeon Forge and Sevierville. 73 for Newport. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. You notice we're down to 88 tomorrow. That is the coolest in quotation marks. Not as hot, but we've got another hot stretch coming in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe a 30% chance of showers and storms on Monday, but that again is day number 7. And you know, like I know from being a kid when you played with dominoes, if each day is a domino, one day has to line up with the other. And right now we'll revisit Monday's forecast a little bit later when I get more data. But I will tell you this, the coolest morning, maybe Thursday morning, because we're down to 66. That's a nice little change of pace, no doubt, for sure. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the Moon Pie Milk, it's available for a limited time. Very thankful for you. Check out the bottle of the Moon Pie Milk. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. No question about that. The Moon Pie Milk is delicious. Available for a limited time. Give yourself a treat. Some comfort food. How about some comfort milk? I tell you, the Moon Pie Milk is extraordinary, and it's out of this world. As the Eagle may have landed many, many years ago, the Moon Pie Milk has landed at a Weigel's near you. So check them out. I'm sure you'd be impressed, as I am. By the way, I want to say good morning to you if you're on the call. Janice is here. She's on here, and I'm watching on YouTube. Steve Stone, he says good morning. He's got his sunshine and smiley face. Thank you for Steve for being here as well. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. Make sure you pick up the hot coffee, too, if that's your thing, first thing this morning, or maybe just the chocolate milk, maybe just the regular milk, because Weigel's would always appreciate seeing you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.